This is the Lectric XPress 750, and this is Lectric's sort of entry-level mountain bike style bike. And it comes with a few different configurations. It comes in a high step and a low step, and there is an upgraded version, which is what we have in front of us, with a 750 watt rear hub motor and a 48 volt 14 amp hour battery. You also get hydraulic brakes and an upgraded front suspension fork. And the base model comes with a 10 amp hour battery and a 500 watt motor, so a little bit less power there. So let's get this thing out of the box and see how the Lectric XPress holds up. It looks like everything comes packaged up really nicely here. So if you do need any help, they have some QR codes that you can scan here for your first ride and setting this bike up and everything. So that's nice. But this is how everything comes packaged, real nice and secure with some string in here. You can see we got some skinnier tires back here than normal. This bike up out of its box here. Open this up. And looks like they give us a little bag right here. They give us some pedals, which are quick release pedals, which is something interesting that Lectric does. The last thing in this box is this box that contains our charger. This is a Sans branded charger, and it is a 54.6 volts 2 amp charger. So about what you would expect for a bike of this price. 2 amps divided by 14 amp hours gives us about 7 hours from completely dead to full on this battery. And Lectric uses string instead of zip ties here, so I don't know, maybe that's more environmentally friendly or something. On the handlebars, they also give us some keys for the battery. The battery is really easy to take off. You just twist the key, and then there's a button that you push down here, and you pull the battery out like that. And it is a 48 volt, 14 amp hour battery with 672 watt hours of energy. And the charge connector is a barrel type plug. And we're gonna go ahead and get this thing on the charger right now. I don't think I've ever seen this many warning tags on a bike before. There's 3 right here, and I think I threw another 2 away. So I'm gonna install our Lectric branded pedals here. They are made of metal, and they do have little pegs on there to really dig into your shoe, and also probably dig into your shin too if you were to crash this thing, so that'd probably hurt. But you can install these with literally one hand like that, and then they come off the same way just with one hand. You know, it's just little things like that that are cool about Lectric. They just do things a little bit differently. All right, so let's go ahead and get this front wheel on here. This is a really easy front wheel to put on and off because you have this quick release on here that's just a through axle, and you don't need any tools. So you literally just undo this and unscrew it, and you can take the wheel off. It's not as quick as a traditional quick release where you just pull the lever and the wheel pops off, but it is nice because a through axle is really, really secure and safe, so it gives you that extra peace of mind. Well, would you look at that? We got this whole bike assembled in like 15 minutes. So shout out to Lectric for making it really easy to get this thing assembled. I got it charging down there, but let's do a little walkthrough here. So on the front, you can see we've got our 27x2 wheel here with RB tires on the front. They definitely come with more of a street tread, so this is probably gonna be a bike that you're gonna be using on the road more. Then in the front here, we have 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes, which is really nice to see. Hopefully they perform well, but it's nice to see hydraulic brakes on a bike. Also, it says right here on the front, we have 80 millimeters of travel on this front fork here. So we do have a preload adjustment right there, and then we have a compression adjustment here, which kind of clicks and locks into place. Then we've got a headlight reflector combo, which we'll check out when we turn the bike on here in a second. So you can see the cables run through here in the frame, so that helps with cable management. And obviously the battery comes out. It's just in the frame right there, like I showed you guys earlier. Good paint quality. You can see the welds right here, but that shouldn't be an issue. It feels really nice. This bike is just over 50 pounds, so you can carry this thing up a set of stairs, no problem. So you have a bunch of mounting points here for accessories. You could put a water bottle holder. You could probably even put another battery on this thing. But over here we have our pedals. That's quick release like you saw earlier. I'll show you guys how I look on the bike in a second here. We have our Lectric branded seat right here, which looks to be pretty basic. It's probably not gonna be the most comfortable, but you probably want to switch that out anyways. So on the back here, we have a hardtail design. There's no suspension linkage back here. If you did want a softer ride, you could add in a suspension seat post on there. Then we have a tail light that's just kind of mounted right here on a bracket, pretty basic looking. On the back, we have 180 millimeter hydraulic brakes as well, so that should be really good. The same brand tires on here, 27x2 inches. Then we have our 750 watt Lectric branded hub motor on here. You also get a standard 7-speed cassette from Shimano. You have a tourney derailleur right here with a derailleur guard. And we'll unplug the battery so that we can turn this bike on. There's just this little switch right here. You can see we have a really bright, nice full color display here. So on the left, we have our front brake, and then we have some nice rubber grips that are screwed into place so that they won't move around. Then we've got our pedal assist up and down and our power button. And then to turn on the headlight, I'm assuming it's the plus button. Yep, and then there's our headlight. It also does show you on the display right there. Then in the middle on our display, you can see we have a battery bar, we have our speedometer, we have 5 pedal assist levels, have our headlight indicator, and then we have our odometer on here. And over here we have our shifter, our 7-speed Shimano shifter, which we've seen a million times on other e-bikes. Then we have a thumb throttle here that goes right instead of up and down. We have our rear hydraulic brake right here, which feels really good. Then we have another rubber hand grip on here. And that is how that headlight looks when it's illuminated. And then our rear tail light here is on with the headlight, but there is no brake light on this bike, unfortunately. You can see the headlight's off. I'm squeezing the brake and nothing's happening. So this is how I look getting on the XPress 750. And I forgot to mention earlier that there is a step-through model of this same bike available. This is the high step one. But overall, this feels really comfortable. You're kind of in this hunched over position, and I could lower the seat a little bit, but if you want to be pedaling, you're going to want to be able to get a better stroke here higher up. Overall, really comfortable feeling. It feels just like a mountain bike, and this is how I look pedaling on this bike. I'm kind of twisted over to the side here, but you can see I could get some good pedaling in on this thing. And this isn't the biggest bike in the world, so if you're a bigger person, you're probably gonna wanna go with a bigger frame bike. I thought this was gonna be a much bigger bike, but it's actually about the same size as that Anchier red bike that I have over there. It's like a 26-inch mountain bike, so this isn't gonna be the best for taller people. Again, I'm 5'9" and 150, and I can fit on this thing just fine. This is like a bike that's made for me. Everything feels really good on this bike. So overall, this seems like a really good bike. It seems like Lectric did a really good job with this. I was really happy with the unboxing experience, and I think all the features that you get on this bike are pretty nice for the price. Now, the upgraded one is about $1,300, and you can get the base model with the 500-watt motor and the 10-amp-hour 48-volt battery for about $1,000, and I think that's a pretty good price. Lectric is a really good brand. They're a big company and everything. You know, you're gonna get good support. And for hydraulic brakes and just the bigger battery and everything, the nice color screen, the nice grips, like there's just little things that make the quality of life living with a bike like this day-to-day better. I am disappointed that there is no tail light that's a brake light, but you know, at least just to be seen when you're riding around at night. This bike is limited to 20 miles an hour on throttle and 28 if you pedal. It would also be nice to see rear suspension on this frame, but you know, for this price point, I think it's acceptable to have a hardtail bike. But with all that being said, guys, looks like an awesome bike so far, but we're gonna go get this thing out on the road and test it out and see how it does. All right, guys, so we're out here on the XPress 750, and I gotta say, this is a really nice feeling bike. You know, for this price, you would definitely expect a good feeling bike. You know, everything just feels really well put together, and the front shock feels good, the brakes feel really good, the screen is so nice to have. It tells you how many watts you're pulling, it tells you your speed, obviously. These nice hand grips here, like everything feels really nice, and Lectric definitely paid attention to detail here with this bike. One thing that I forgot to mention when we were back in the garage is that there is a USB port underneath the screen, but the stem here kind of blocks the USB port, so I don't know, you might have to adjust that screen a little bit. One other nice thing about this bike is that the tires already come with slime in them, and if you don't know what slime is, it's basically an anti-puncture thing that you put in your tires, and it basically prevents small little punctures from giving you flats. Like if you run over a little thorn or something when you're out on the trail, you know, if that got into your tire and your tube, it would deflate the tire. But the slime fills that hole so that you can keep going. So it's nice to have that little peace of mind on these skinny little tires like this. And I actually did watch a few reviews of this bike, and one thing that people were saying was that this is a really quiet hub motor, and I have to kind of disagree. This is probably one of the loudest hub motors I've heard on an e-bike before. That's not a bad thing, it's just a loud motor, and I guess if you're annoyed by that, that might be an issue, but really for me, I don't care. People are gonna hear you coming, that's for sure, but it's not really that big of a deal. This thumb throttle on here is really nice, and it's actually pretty responsive to your inputs. It's not like jerky, it's not like jerking me around on the bike. So really this bike isn't made to be going off-road necessarily. I wouldn't say this is like this bike's primary thing, but you know, we can go off-road here. Our voltage is definitely sagging down a little bit here. I've taken this thing a few miles just riding it around. I'm running over these rocks and this rough terrain really easily over here. And we don't even have knobby off-road tires on this thing. This is impressive for a little bike like this. Like I said earlier, this is the upgraded 750-watt version. And I'm seeing on this screen that I'm pulling over 1,000 watts. I think I saw it peak at like 1,100 watts on there. So this is actually a fairly powerful bike. Since it's pulling 1,100 watts, it feels really good. It feels really torquey. I love how this bike feels. It's nice to be on one of these skinny tire bikes again, because sometimes those fat tire bikes, they the handling sucks so bad on them, and it's just, it feels like you're driving a truck around, but on this it feels like you're nimble and you're light. All the fat tire stuff is cool, but that stuff just adds weight and everything, and if you're not going to be needing that, just going to be taking this thing on road, you really don't need all that stuff. So as far as styling and everything on this bike, obviously it's subjective, but I think this is a really good looking bike. This is a really deep black on here, and it's got the gray sort of stripes on there, and it says Lectric and everything, and they didn't really go overboard with the branding. It just sort of looks like a regular mountain bike that you could buy from the store. It is a really subtle e-bike, even though it is pretty powerful. So if you're riding this thing around, people might not even know that you're on an e-bike unless they hear you coming. That battery is really well integrated into the frame down here. It's flush, it doesn't rattle around, and I kept the keys in there just in case I wanted to take it out. The tires and everything are really good for being on the road, and you can even do some light off-roading like we saw earlier. I have the suspension all the way open, so it's like the softest, but even then, you know, you can see, I don't know if you can see actually, but we were getting pretty much full compression on that front suspension there, so you know, relatively comfortable. I've ridden fat tire hardtail bikes that feel way worse than that. The seat is okay, it's not the best. I would definitely replace it if I were to buy this bike, but it's not bad, and it'll get you around. It's perfect to start off with. And pedaling on this bike is really good. Obviously this is a bike that you're going to be wanting to pedal on, but this is a really good bike as far as gearing goes. A lot of e-bikes can't keep up after 20, and this bike is capable of going 28 when you're pedaling. So to be able to keep up at like 27, 28 miles an hour and still be able to input on the pedals is really nice, and I'll show you guys that later when we're back out on this thing riding around. This rear taillight literally just looks like a reflector on here. It's really like well hidden. Just overall, this design and everything initially, it just feels really high quality. And one thing that I just noticed down here too is they actually have a little guard down here on the frame to protect from like chain slap and from you know, oil and grease and stuff getting on your frame. So it's nice that they do that. Again, it's just the little details with Lectric that I really like. What do you say we get back on this thing and take it for a little bit of a ride? Let's test out the pedaling and see how it does there. I just popped a little wheelie there when I was taking off. So obviously we're dealing with 5 pedal assist levels here. This does feel like a torque sensor on this bike. The more I input on the pedals, the more power I feel coming from the motor. So it is nice to have a torque sensor on this bike like this. So let's just go down to pedal assist 0, and I mean that's full, like you're on your own mode. The throttle is off in pedal assist 0, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So we'll go up to pedal assist 1. Looks like we're getting about 13 miles an hour on pedal assist 1, which is nice. If I were pedaling this bike, this is probably where I'd want to be at. Pedal assist 1's nice and easy. The power does go up with the pedal assist number, so if you're in pedal assist 5, it's going to give you more power than in pedal assist 1. I'm going to flip around here and see what top speed I can get. We're going slightly uphill here. I'm in pedal assist 5, just cranking it, getting about 26, 27. If we were on a full battery, I think we would have got up to top speed faster. The speedometer does seem really accurate too. It's matching up with the GPS pretty much perfectly. And also we are limited on throttle to only 20 miles an hour on this bike. But again, as you saw, if you pedal, you can get up to 27, 28 miles an hour on this bike. This is a true class 2 e-bike with a 750 watt motor and everything. It's a few days later, and I wanted to say that I don't know if they just started doing this, but the price for the upgraded one that we're on right now is still just under 1,300 bucks at $1,299. But now it looks like they include the rear rack, fenders, a bike lock, a elite headlight, which looks just like a brighter upgraded headlight, and then a suspension seat post for free. So I just wanted to make you guys aware that they were offering that too on that price, and I do believe they sent me an email that they were doing a Black Friday sale on this thing. So just in case I didn't get the 0 to 20 on the last one, let's test that out right now and go. Full throttle, pedal assist 5. On the Lectric screen, it's saying 20. And of course, this is limited to 20 miles an hour out of the box. I'm not sure if you can unlock it. I'm sure someone on Reddit has found a way to unlock this thing, but I don't know if you can, and I'm not really gonna try it on this because 20 miles an hour feels plenty on this bike. It definitely does feel like it has more in it. One thing that I am noticing is this screen keeps up with the speed that you're going really well. A lot of screens lag a lot, but this one is good. I also did give the battery a full charge since the last time I rode it in the other half of this video, and when I full throttle this, it says that we're pulling over 1,200 watts here on the screen, which is awesome. The screen in daylight is pretty good. I'm on a cloudy day here, as you can see, and I can see the screen pretty well. This bike feels really agile. I just got off of a 26-inch fat tire mountain bike, and this just feels so much more agile with these skinnier tires on here. The acceleration on this bike is really strong. It feels nice. If you get this thing, I think you're gonna be really happy with the power on this bike. These brakes feel really good. They feel really firm. They're not squishy, and there's no brand name on them, but they feel really, really good, especially for the price on this bike. And I actually forgot how nice the acceleration feels on this bike too. You know, obviously this is a pretty entry-level bike, but this thing's torquey. It kind of throws you back a little bit. You know, I think it's a combination of these light, skinny tires and this light frame on here. It just accelerates beautifully. Also, I think that if you're living in an apartment in the city or something and you have to bring this bike up some stairs, you're gonna be able to do that on this thing. At 5'9", it's very manageable for me. I think that I'm kind of the target size for a bike like this. I kind of do like a smaller bike. I feel like I can control it better, and I just feel like I have more control over the bike and everything. I like how lightweight this thing feels. Overall, I'm a huge fan of Lectric and what they're doing with the XPress 750 here. I think this is an awesome value bike. This is a really good entry-level e-bike, and I think you're gonna get that peace of mind and that assurance because this isn't just an off-the-shelf random bike off of Amazon. There are some good deals to be had with that stuff, but this is a more known name brand. It's not gonna be the cheapest option, but it is a good priced, good value entry-level bike. And you're not dealing with some faceless company. You know, Lectric is very well known. They've grown very fast in the past few years, and they're a respected name in the e-bike world. This is the first bike that I've checked out from them, but I've heard nothing but good things, and I've had nothing but a good experience with this bike, especially putting this thing together. I was really impressed with how simple and easy that process was. As somebody who puts a good amount of electric bikes together, I think that the average consumer is going to be able to put that together just fine and not have many issues. You know, obviously I do wish that this had rear suspension because it is a little bit rough being a hardtail bike, but especially with the skinny tires. But they do offer that suspension seat post now, so maybe you can snag it and get a free suspension seat post as well. But overall, I'm a huge fan of the XPress 750. I think if you're in the market for an entry-level bike like this, if you're just going to be commuting around town and stuff and just doing basic stuff with this, especially since they include that rear rack apparently with that sale that they're doing right now, you can throw some stuff on the back of here. It's really practical. You can carry it up to your apartment. It's got good battery life, powerful motor, pedaling feels really nice on it, a good screen. Like I said, I wish it had rear suspension, but it is what it is, and some really good brakes for an entry-level bike like this. One other minor thing I will say is that this motor on this thing is pretty loud. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it just is pretty loud. I don't know, it sounds like you're in a race car transmission or something with like straight cut gears. It's just really loud and whiny for an e-bike. It's probably one of the loudest e-bike motors I've ever been on. Anyways guys, if you do want to pick up the Lectric XPress 750, you can in the description and the pinned comment. I'll leave links. They are running a sale right now in November of 2024, so anything about that will be also in the description and pinned comment and everything too. But overall, I definitely do recommend this bike. I think this bike would be good for somebody who's sort of an average sized person and they're looking for an entry-level e-bike that's made with quality parts, a good company that's going to have good support and respond to you and everything. You have good brakes, you have good power, you have that integrated battery. You kind of get the full package with the XPress 750. And I do think that it is a good value for the price. You also get that nice screen. The pedaling's really nice on it. You get this really nice thumb throttle on here too, which is the first I've seen that goes horizontally like this, but it is, again, just very nice, very quality feeling. So that is the Lectric XPress 750, and I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you supporting this channel. If this isn't your thing, I have plenty of other videos on other bikes, fat tire bikes, moped style bikes, even some scooters. I'll link some of those in the description, in the pinned comment and everything. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.